So the next topic we're going to talk about, this is going to be our non-sports topic, but it is related to sports and
Whew.
fashion.
So
So
getting ready. He said, "What?"
anybody who doesn't know what's going on, let me get you caught up. Dwayne Wade's son, his name is Zaire.
Is it still his son?
Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I mean,
So his son, who is now 12 years old, is out publicly as being gay. And Dwayne Wade and his wife Gabrielle Union has took it upon themselves to make the process and journey of having a child who is considers themselves a part of the LGBTQ community, and they're bringing that issue to light and to the forefront and using their platform to showcase the journey and the issues and the situations that a family and a young child has to go through and deal with when coming to terms of their sexuality.
So just to correct and make sure we're speaking correctly, Zaire is not the son that we're speaking of. Zaire is the son that's in high school.
What is the
Zaya?
His name was Zion.
Zion?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Zion.
No worries. Just wanted to clarify it.
So Zion, so to get to the topic, Zion, the latest interviews around the interviews that Dwayne Wade has been doing, he was on a morning television show. I think it was Good Morning America, and he was talking about the situation, and he brought up the topic of Zion coming to him and Gabrielle Union and saying that he wants to be considered and addressed as she rather than he. And he wanted to change his name to what is his name?
Now it's Zaya.
Zaya. Wanted to be addressed as she and change his name to Zaya. And Dwayne Wade was on the Good Morning America show talking about how he supports him and they will address his now daughter as Zaya rather than his son as Zion. So the issue comes up, and this comes from my brother, one of my bros, B. Jeffrey Barnes, off of Facebook, where a lot of people are questioning if that is the right thing to do, or they have questions about is that contributing not only to the feminization of the black male, but is that contributing to the feminization of the American male as well? And is it right to, even though the child may want it, is it right to support and not try to deter the child from taking such a drastic step at such a young age where their mind or judgment might not be completely formed to where they can make the best decision for themselves? What you got on that take, Yeekity?
I'm glad you're going first.
No, man. So let me preface this by saying I absolutely understand Dwayne Wade's position in supporting his son. You obviously always want the best for your children, and as parents, we all want the same for our kids. You obviously want them to have the things in a better life and the support that you may not have had as a child growing up, as well as you want them to feel like you're always there for them. You want to be that safety net. You want to be that anchor for them. In this particular case, unfortunately, I can honestly say, as far as the feminization of African American male and the American male in a whole, if I'm Dwayne Wade, that's not my problem. I don't care about that. At this point and at this juncture, My focus is the well-being mentally and physically of my child. Now, as the man itself, man in a whole, I could give two shits about that. That's not my focus. That's not my mindset. What I do disagree with is the allowing of the gender determination and, I guess you can say, in a sense, change at such a young age. I feel like if that's something you decide to do, cool. That's something to be determined once you realize this is truly the path that you would like to take. I'm fine with you if you feel like this is what I'm comfortable with. This is who I am in my skin. That's great. At the end of the day, you were still born a man, though. I would still like for you to recognize yourself as a man and recognize the responsibilities you have as a black boy growing into a man in this world up until that age of where when you are ready to make that choice and that decision, by all means, I will continue to support you in that aspect. That I feel like would have been the best thing to do, whereas you're still showing your support for your child. You're still showing your support for the decision that they're making, because again, you can't make the decision for them. This is a life that they have to lead. But you're also setting a regulation or setting a set of guidelines that as a child, you still have to live by. Because at the end of the day, as children, there needs to be guidelines set. There needs to be rules and regulations set in certain aspects. Now, again, I'm not telling you not to feel. I'm not telling you how to feel. I'm not telling you that this is wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not condemning you for this feeling that you have. But we are going to regulate it in a sense where until you're of age to make that final decision, this is where we are. That would be, I guess you could say, my point of view and where I would take it. I'm uncomfortable with allowing this for a child, this decision for a child. But again, as I started off, I understand the reasoning behind supporting your child and wanting them to feel that love and that security. But I feel like that's a bit far. Just my opinion. PH?
I agree with you. Mostly, Dwayne Wade is stuck in a hard place right now, man. He don't support. Oh, he a piece of shit. He's gonna be the worst motherfucking father in the world. He gay bashing. He don't like this. He don't like that. And then he do support. Still, he a piece of shit then now too. I mean, he gets no wins. So the best thing he can do is, you know what? Whatever. What do you want and how do you feel? This is what we're gonna go with. And I know as a man, you want your son to be your son. You know, I mean, not your daughter. And him being a father, there's like this. Well, let me put it this way. Me being a father, being in that situation, I would probably cry every night having to deal with that. But every day, I would stand by my child.
Absolutely.
I would stand by my child and support every step and everything that, well, not every step. Let me take that back. I would support them as much as possible because the transitioning and trying to change into a female or whatever the case may be, look, like you said, you could wait till later on down the line. You know, if you want to dress a different way, let's hold off on that too. You know, it's just that honestly, that's I'm taking it one day at a time thing. I can't. I'm not rushing anything. I'm not jumping into anything. Today is today, and tomorrow, let's deal with something else. There's a lot on my plate today, so let's just deal with this today, and let's go on. Let's keep going forward.
So I'm dealing with a lot right now.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I'm not trying to make a joke out of it, but like I see a lot of stuff on Facebook. It's like, you know what? after Saturday, or seeing Dwayne Wade, I can see why he supported this son because he looked kind of suspect himself. Everybody was calling Dwayne Wade gay, all types of stuff. And I was like, you know what? We might have a little thing going on over there because. But that's just how they dress, though, man. If that's the case, all the NBA players is gay, which they might be. You never know. You never know. But yeah, I couldn't even imagine what Dwayne Wade goes through in his thought process and what he does. The man probably drinks every night. Every night. Let me take my 4, 5, 13 shots. I mean, that's just something hard to deal with, man. How would you go through this, Chips?
How would I go through this?
Yeah.
So,
word, Chip's the only one. We both got, girls. It's like, yeah, she would want to be a boy. Like, it's a little different.
I can understand. Excuse me. I can understand the people that is up in arms about this, and here's why. It's the thing for me. It's one thing to support your child, and I think we all agree that if you have a child that says they're gay and considers themselves a part of that community, by all means, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to bash you. We're not those type of people. We are going to be there 100% to support our child. But the thing for me is, it's a 12-year-old child. And it's a couple of different layers for me that would trouble me. One, you are not formed mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to be able to face all the, I don't want to say repercussions, but all the things that come along with making such a drastic change. You look at Kim Kardashian, they step pops or whatever, the things that he had to go through, and he was a fully grown older guy when he made the decision to change it to a female. There's a lot of responsibility and issues and hurdles that you have to go through when you make such a drastic change. I get it. You guys are famous. You have a platform. You have support coming from all different angles. But you have to think about the child. When they walk out of that house and go to school, or they in the streets in public. Remember, this whole thing started from him being on a video during Gay Pride in Miami. And look at all the backlash and criticism and shit y'all got just from that. So, Yitiri, you said something about rules and regulations. I wouldn't quite say rules and regulations. I would say guidance. Guidance. You have to provide guidance to that child and get him to understand, or I would get my child to understand, like, I get it. I get it. You consider yourself, you feel this way, you're gay. It's okay. But this specific thing that you're talking about, changing he to a she, being addressed as a female, I don't think you're quite ready and mature enough to take on everything that comes along with that. We are going to love you, like you guys said. We're going to love you, support you, with everything that's happened so far. But let's wait. I mean, it's the same thing with regular life situations. Your child might say, "Oh, I'm in love" at the age of 13, and or your daughter might say, "I want to have a baby," or some crazy shit like that. You're not just going to say, "Yeah, go have a baby."
Don't throw that out there.
So, no, I'm just saying.
Don't say it.
Rules and regulations, motherfucker.
Word. That's word.
it's along those lines for me. Like that is something drastic that you have to be sure that they are mature enough to make a decision like that. A child that young cannot go into any doctor's office and say, even with your consent, take off my penis and make me a girl, or give me a penis and make me a guy. They can't do it. The most that a child that young could do with the consent of an adult is take some pills when it comes to hormonal things. That's all you can do legally.
I don't even think you can do that at that age.
No, you definitely can. You definitely can. I mean, it's not as drastic as the stuff that adults would take, but they do have pills like that they issue kids in these situations.
Yo, let's get off this topic and hurry up, please. I don't want to talk about this no more.
But it's a serious conversation, and
I know it is. And that's why it's troubling.
Fathers with not only sons, but daughters, children in general, or mothers. And I'm gonna make it a little personal. It's me and Risa was talking about this, and she is on the side where, you know, if a child comes and says he or she wants to be addressed as the opposite sex, she would be fine and support. I necessarily wouldn't do that, because my thought is, listen, I'm going to support you if you're gay, but I don't feel you should take the right and the joy and the privilege away from me being able to say I have a son.
So your decisioning is selfish.
No,
yes.
Not only.
Yes.
Not only. It is.
I didn't say only. I'm just saying the statement that you made.
It's
selfish intentions.
It's okay. Part of it. It's not, and I don't want to say selfish, because when you use the word selfish, that means I'm not thinking about nobody else but me.
Well, that statement that you made was only around you.
That's part of it. That's part of it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not saying that. Okay.
I just don't want to attach that selfish to, because that's not my only statement.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? That's part. That's like it'll be a long, hard conversation with my child, and coming to that mutual respect and understanding and having that discussion. Like, you know, I have a son. I don't want to introduce my 12-year-old son as my daughter. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's a part of it as well. That's why I said there's multiple layers to it. It's not only the child's feelings, it's the parents' feelings too. And like you said, PH, you stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because it's such a sensitive and delicate situation that I couldn't imagine. So it's just many layers to it. So in closing, I think that Dwayne Wade, one, if you're going to take your platform and be an advocate and try to educate society on this issue, great. But some things are better left at home. You don't have to bring everything to light, because not only, and you have to use your judgment as a sensible adult to figure out what's okay to put out there in public and what you should keep in the house. Because certain things, as we see with the day and age of social media and the internet, you're going to catch unnecessary and sometimes hurtful backlash from it. It's not all going to be the support that you're looking for. So for me, it's important for the welfare of the child. You know what I mean? Oh, PH is gone. He back. It's important for the welfare of the child. And situation like this, I feel like it takes away from the child. And the transition and all the emotions and feelings that he's going through. So it's a tough topic.
I mean, granted, let me just say this too. like y'all both said, it is, he's in a rock, in between a rock and a hard space, mainly because of his platform, like you said. If he wasn't as big a celebrity as he was, and he was just a regular parent, this probably wouldn't even be a topic of discussion, because I'm sure this isn't the first child to want to go this route. You know what I
No,
mean?
definitely. It definitely wouldn't be a topic for us to talk about.
I'm talking about period, because I'm sure before this, there has been many cases where
No, that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't be a topic for people like us, like other people
I mean,
outside.
it wouldn't be a thing. It would be okay. That's
But yeah,
that's what that family wants to do.
but
What I would commend Dwayne Wade on, though, is like you said, educated.
mhm.
I'll give him the credit of wanting to be an advocate, like you said, but also not blindly advocating for one side or the other, but being open about his feelings, expressing it, because he's done multiple interviews where he came out and said, "This is tough. This is hard. It's not an easy thing that we're going through as a family, but we're going through it as a family."
Right.
I
Right.
feel like I want to make sure I get that out and commend him for that, because that's big. You know what I mean? Like, we all as parents be like, oh, if my child did whatever, I'd support them. I don't know. I'd like to think that my mental capacity would be able to accept my son coming to tell me that he likes boys. But I don't know. My mindset at the heat of the moment might change, and I'd be like, no, the fuck you don't. You know what I mean? Or I might become selfish and be like, how could you do this to me and the family?
And that's why I say you can't imagine it. You can't imagine going through
Exactly. Like we would all like to think we'd react a certain way, but until you,
like I said, I'm crying every night. I'm crying every night. Ain't no shame. I'm crying. My son come tell me he gay and he want to be with boys. Yo, all right, I'm gonna give him a hug. I got you. I'm going in the room and I'm crying. Okay, I'm watching a sad movie right now. Okay, leave me alone.
PH gonna put himself on punishment.
Yep.
But let us know what you think. Obviously, great topics today, important topics today, because this last one doesn't affect us, doesn't affect only one person or Dwayne Wade. It's about those people that don't have a voice. It's about those people that don't have the ability and the money and the celebrity to get out their true feelings as parents, as people going through that transition, and as well as supporting the LGBT community. So we appreciate everybody's opinion. We appreciate everybody's individuality, and we respect that. But we want to know what you think. These are our opinions. These are our true opinions as well, and our true feelings about these topics. We joke and we laugh a lot, but in these cases, we like to have serious topics and serious conversations, because we are adults, we are parents, we are Black males. We understand the effect that a lot of this has on our community past surface level.
As a whole.
Yep.
And before we wrap up, I want to give a shout out to JB for bringing this topic to light on Facebook. Also want to give a shout out to my boy Woody. He has a clothing line called Brooklyn General. You can check him out on Instagram. His Instagram is Brooklyn, spelled out Brooklyn _General _BKG. He had another topic that was we did a little live video on Facebook. We was talking about calling Jamaicans dreads. Maybe we'll talk about that topic later. But I say it and I bring him up and I give him a shout out because he's one of those guys that's out there publicly using any form of social media to bring awareness for fathers and us men in our culture to start talking about these things and bringing these things to light. And hopefully the words that we speak will help others have some understanding or guidance in things that they should be talking about with their kids or their family members, and how they should go about addressing certain issues that we all go through. You know what I mean? So nobody's alone, and these topics need to be spoken about. So shout out to him and JB. Check them out.
Yes,
And,
it's all about educational enlightenment, people.
That's right. That's right. That's
We
right.
got to do better as a culture.
And I also, we did talk about the Kobe situation, but I still want to give a RIP for the rest of them families that was on that helicopter.
Indeed.
I think it's the Otabellis or whatever, the mother, father, daughter. They still had 2 daughters that was left over.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't even on the helicopter. Lost damn near the whole family. So, just people just got to be mindful that it wasn't just Kobe and his daughter on that helicopter.
Facts.
It was a lot of other people on that helicopter, and a lot of other families got hurt too.
Facts.
Absolutely. Definitely a lot of families lost, and it was a big tragedy. Our prayers go out to everyone that lost somebody at the beginning of this year. Obviously, like Chip said in the beginning, a very, very tough start to the year, but we're going to make it, man. We're going to get through it, and we just going to get better. And we got to understand that there's always a plan. We just don't know why. It's not our place.
Yeah, definitely not our place.
But as always, man, like, subscribe,
comment. Get in the comments.
Hit the notification button. Let us know what you think. Give us your opinions, man. Obviously, some very opinionated topics this week. So give us your opinions so that we know what direction you want us to go in. Let us know how you feel. Obviously, Chips is always in the comments.
Always.
So let us know, and we will respond, man. We appreciate everybody. And as always, MizFitz out.
We out.